The marketing for enterprise software presents a vision of digital perfection, data moving instantly through synchronized systems, processed flawlessly by advanced AI. In reality, most office workflows look different. You find highly paid professionals staring at two monitors, manually copying an invoice number from a CRM and typing it into a spreadsheet. Organizations are deploying advanced AI agents into environments that still run on manual copy-paste routines and Friday afternoon email forwards. This gap between the software you buy and the way information actually flows is a structural liability called integration debt. Every time a digital process hands off to a human who then types, the data ages. The digital chain of custody breaks, creating a measurable increase in latency and error risk. An AI agent is structurally incapable of optimizing an environment it cannot see. When the data pipeline requires a person to move information between systems, the AI is effectively blinded to the actual state of the business. To see how this breaks a business, we can look at the systems autopsy of a 75-person pharmaceutical supplier. They were heavily invested in technology. Their official IT roster featured 42 separate enterprise tools, including top-tier CRM and resource planning software. Despite this investment, their multi-million-dollar sales forecasts were consistently wrong, and their AI predictive tools were outputting useless data. The actual failure wasn't in the algorithm. The sales director was making critical commercial decisions every Monday morning based on data that had been manually compiled the previous Friday. This is decision lag, a direct business cost that undermines the performance of the entire technology stack. Fixing the forecasting meant auditing the architecture to locate and eliminate every manual data leak. You cannot find these leaks by looking at an official IT org chart. Those documents only show how the systems are supposed to connect. Diagnosing why an AI deployment fails requires ignoring software brand names and mapping the physical movement of information between employees. The first step in a systems autopsy is to abandon the official IT documentation. While IT departments maintain an approved list of software, employees often rely on shadow tools, unapproved spreadsheets, and informal trackers just to survive their day. Integration gaps always live in the space between the manager's described workflow and the operator's actual Monday morning routine. You are looking for a digital to analog conversion, the moment a person reads data from a screen and converts it into typing. In the pharmaceutical company, a sales coordinator was spending 90 minutes every Friday exporting a CSV from an expensive CRM just to paste it into a free shared spreadsheet. This single routine introduced a 2-day delay in pipeline visibility, increased the risk of billing errors, and created an unmeasured wage cost. When you multiply these manual routines across every department, you reveal the organization's true shadow information architecture. Employees normalize these broken processes. They stop seeing the manual export as an inefficiency and start seeing it as a standard part of the job. A staff workaround is not a sign of employee ingenuity. It is a symptom of a pre-existing system failure. To map this shadow architecture, we use a diagnostic framework built on 3 anchor questions. First, where does information leave one system and get entered manually into another? This manual typing breaks the digital chain of custody. Information no longer moves at network speed. It moves at human speed. This localized break forces downstream systems to wait, starving surrounding nodes of data. Second, what major decisions are being made on stale or incomplete data? Relying on manually compiled reports means looking into the past. By the time data reaches your desk, business reality has moved on. This lag creates a ceiling on agility, blinding you to market changes for 48 hours. Third, which workflows require a human to be present simply to move information between tools? This is the phenomenon of human as middleware. It is the most expensive possible way to connect 2 pieces of software. Paying a full-time wage for data transfer is the most direct measurement of your organization's integration debt. A thorough audit will uncover dozens of gaps. To make the work manageable, you must prioritize. We filter these gaps by multiplying their frequency by their consequence. This matrix separates critical business risks from minor technical annoyances. We only focus on the items that cause active harm. The pharmaceutical company's Friday export sits in the critical top right quadrant. It consumes 90 minutes a week, forces a 2-day decision lag, and represents a 4,500-pound annual wage drain. Prioritizing gaps by their measurable consequence is the only way to ensure your automation efforts produce a viable return on investment. The output of this audit is not a strategy deck, it is a precise architecture brief. A strategy deck is a wish list. An architecture brief is a connection specification that tells a developer exactly what to build. Every automated connection requires 3 components: a trigger, an action, and a notification. For the pharmaceutical company, the trigger is a closed deal in the CRM. The action is an automated native sync to the shared sheet. The notification is 0, but you must also account for the most frequently missed component: exception handling. If the connection fails, the system must retry 3 times. If it still fails, it must trigger a Slack alert to the operations team. A silent failure in an automated system poses a greater threat to a business than the manual process it replaced. Implementing this brief changed the baseline efficiency of the pharmaceutical supplier. By removing the manual handoff, we replaced a human bottleneck with a solid green API connection. 90 minutes of weekly labor was reclaimed, and data transfer happens instantly. The decision lag shrinks to 0. The Monday forecast is now based on Monday's data, not Friday's. The AI forecasting tool didn't need a patch or a more expensive license. It just needed access to the real-time state of the pipeline. AI performance is entirely dependent on the structural integrity of the data pipeline feeding it. This operational drag exists at a global enterprise scale, where a single broken connection can impact thousands of workflows. The larger the organization, the more expensive these manual handoffs become. Most organizations treat failing digital transformation as a software problem. The reality is that they bought the right tools but neglected the architecture. Information architecture is an operational leadership skill, not a task for IT delegation. Stop purchasing new AI agents to solve data workflow problems. You must map and repair your underlying data pipes before attempting to upgrade the water.